So let's quickly start with module 3. In module 3, we have four topics. I mean, list, dictionary, tuple, and regular expression. So these are the topics in module 3. List, expression, tuples, and regular expressions. So I will just tell you what is the meaning of all the four topics. And one more thing, none of your microphones are muted. If you want to discuss or if you want to stop and if you want to ask me anything during the session, you can ask me. I have not muted your mics. Since all the users are, all the users only from your section, I have not muted any of your users. If you want to talk, you're free to talk. Okay. So basically, we know what is called data structure, right? So list is one example for a data structure. That is what the meaning of list. And what are the things that we do with list in Python that let us discuss in the upcoming topics. And second topic is dictionaries. So dictionaries, as we know, what is the use of dictionary? Dictionary will provide you, like a word along with its meaning. It always comes with a pair. Like always, the left side you can see the word, right side you can see the meaning of it. Similarly, a dictionary will be representing the same concept. Dictionary will be coming with the name and followed by value. So this and how to create it, how we are using it, those things we'll be discussing. And one more thing, in classes and methods, at the last example, you have seen the program which is having a function called dict, inbuilt function dict. So that is dict is a function which is used to create this dictionary. So once if you get into dictionary, we'll discuss about those things. And third, tuples and list are more or less same. The difference is list are mutable. I mean, you can change, alter the items or elements in the list, but tuples items or elements which can't be get altered, which can't be get modified. Once it is created, we can't modify, alter it. If you want, once, the only thing we can do is we can delete, remove it. That's all. So no alteration, no, like we can't access them, we can't change the values, we can't modify those values. And the representation of list and tuple will be a little bit different. And last one, regular using the expressions. So this is overview of module 3. We'll be discussing about four topics. So like first, list. So list is a data structure. We know, like a list is a sequence of set of values. And second thing, so if you treat as like a strings, like if I write a string HELLO, you can place this as like a in a array, like an array in a blocks. So H followed by E followed by LLO. So I can say 1 2 3 5 elements in this. 5 characters are there in a given string. Similarly, you can treat the same thing as like a list. 5 elements are there in the list, or 5 items in the list. So as we call, like the first index of the element always starts with 0. Here too it is same. The first index element always starts with 0, and the values in the list can be called as elements or can be called as items. And the way to represent a list is using a square brackets. So that is what I've indicated it as red color. So square bracket indicates that it is a list, and parenthesis indicates that it is a tuple. So that let us discuss later. Okay, I'm just informing you like what does mean by how to represent a list, how to represent a tuple. So lists are always represented as like a square brackets. How will you, like how we represent a subscript of a string, or a string in a indexes elements positions, the same way the same way we represent a list. And the bottom of the thing, you can see a list with the integer values 10 20 30 40, and the other integer with the strings. And a string can be homogeneous, a string can also be heterogeneous. A string can hold elements or items of type integer, or can hold elements or items of type strings, or can be a combination of both. So that is the meaning of list. See here, if you look into it, like the first example on the top, you can see spam. Next 2.0, next 5. Spam is the voice of the form string, second 2.0 is of the form float, and third is of the form integer. And next I have represented 10 comma 20. It is again a list within a list, right? So a list within a list. So I have represented a list and then within a list. So it is called nested list. 10 comma 20 will be a list where that list is placed inside a list. So this concept is called nested list. And even I can represent an empty list, a list with no elements. At the bottom, we can see some, some values which are assigned to variables as list. So here cheeses or the list which is having three values like cheddar, Edam, Gouda. And second thing, number 17, 23, and third thing is a empty. So these are three examples for list. So as we discussed, like lists are mutable. Which are changeable, which are altered. If it is 17 comma 123, as if I want to I mean like alter the second value of the list as something like 10 or 15. So the second position is 1, so 0, and the next position is 1. I need to write numbers of 1 is equal to 20, so that I will be getting numbers of 17 comma 20. So this is same as what we have discussed in strings in module 1 in class, the same concept, right? So this is one small example to display list values and variables. Yes. Just 2 minutes, I will allow few users. Okay. So we are talking about like lists are mutable. I mean the syntax for accessing element of a list is the same as square bracket. And here, if you look into it, like you can see print cheese of 0. I can get the first index. I can get the first element in the list, or first item in the list with respect to index position 0. It is called as indices or index position. So lists are mutable. We can alter item in the list. That's what I told you, like the example. So 17 123, I'm modifying the second number. I mean like 123 to 5. I'm printing it as 17 comma 5. And next one, like list indices work the same way as a string. As how we do the same thing. And one thing is like integer expression can be used as an index. I mean like a 0 1 2 3. In that way you can try to get it you can try to access the elements in a list. And second one is like if you try to read or write an element that does not exist, you return and get index, that is always there. And if you have negative indexing, like a negative, if you have a negative index like -1, it starts with -1, it starts from end of the list. And the next one more thing is like we can use even in operator in list to check whether the particular item or particular element is there in the list or not. Here, here some three strings are taken and checking out whether that particular string is there in the list or not. If it is available, it returns true, else it returns false. The same in operator we have discussed in the topic called strings. I mean to find out, for example, the given string is hello. Just want to know whether a character H is there in the given string or not. I could be using this operator called in operator. And second thing, we have used the operator called starts with. I mean, like I have the string called hello. I will be just verifying whether the given string starts with the character H or not. If it starts with the given character H, I will be getting the result as true. Else I will be getting result as false. Like even I can use the same starts with operator even in list. Okay. And traversing a list, I mean accessing the elements in a list. So to access all the elements in a list, we use for loop. And most of the functions and most of the methods that we try to access a list will be always similar to strings in Python. So as we used a for loop in accessing things and element thing, in accessing characters from a strings in Python, similarly we can access the elements or item in a list using for loop in Python. And second thing, like even I can use a range range to get the things that are done in Python. And here we can use len, I mean to count the or to find the number of elements in a string, number of elements in a list. And this what is, and I hope you know the meaning of len, which returns the number of elements in the list. Second, range same as usual, start from 0, ends with last -1, I mean n minus 1. If I start my range from 0 to 10, this will be representing values only from 0 to 9. That concept is same. So list operations. So we have two operations. I mean, like here we will be considering two operations of a list. One will be plus, second will be star. I mean plus as usual concatenation, which combines two lists. As we combine two string using string concatenation, here it is list concatenation, which combines two lists. Here it is example A equal to 1 to 3 first list. Second list is B equal to 4 5 6. If I try to do C is equal to A plus B, I will be getting the concatenated list. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a single list. So it is one operation of a list using plus operator. And second one is called star. Star means it is not multiplying, it is repeats a list of given number of times. For example, if I create a list called Eliphas list with only one element 0, and if I apply star operator for, it repeats the list for four times. Similarly, next you can see like 1, 2, 3, star 3. It repeats 1, 2, 3 for 3 times. I mean, whatever the star operator, whatever the operand that we pass next to star operator, and as that number of times the elements in the list will be get repeated. That is the use of star operator. So it is one thing is called plus operator, second thing is called star operator. So these are the two operations that we do with list in Python. And this star operator will not be, we are not doing that much with strings. List slices. So this we have discussed earlier. I mean like slices, I mean like cutting or taking a part of it. So from the given string, we have truncated the different strings. I mean like from the given string, if it is welcome, I'll be trying to cut the first half, or I'll be trying to cut the second half, or I'll be trying to cut the middle as of with respective to starting index position and the last index position. And second thing is, if there is no first index position is specified, by default it starts from 0, and if there is no last index position is specified, it ends with the last value. And if there is no index position, if there is no start position, by you will not be getting any truncated part, you will be getting the complete string. Similarly here to the same, in list, as I told you, we will be having an index position same 0, 1, 2, 3. I can access the element, or I can access the item in a list. So here it has taken as some first list is equal to A, B, C, D, E, F. I just want to print from 1 to 3. Similarly, if it is 1 to 3, it will start from 1, ends with 2. It will not be printing the third value. So B, C. And second example, T, there is no starting value, but the ending value is 4. So it starts from 0, ends with 3, not with 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3. I will be getting up to D. And third one is 3 and no end value. If it is no end value, it ends with the last position. That is the last example. Similarly, if I write the same slicing without any index position, I mean without a start and without end position, there will not be any cutting, any truncation of it. You will be getting the complete list. So that is what the next example. T, it is passed with no index position, no start, no end position, just passed with a semicolon. And if you see at the result, you will be getting the complete list without any cutting up from it. So it is how we can apply slices on a list. Same similar manner how we apply the slicing concept on a strings is same applicable for a list. And second thing, a slice operator on left hand side of an assignment can update multiple elements. I mean like as of now we have discussed we can update only one element in a list. I mean like if the example which you have taken is 17 comma 123, I just want to update the element or item 123 into 5. What I have done is numbers bracket 1, which will be updating the value 5 in the first index position. Similarly, if you want to update more than one number of item or element at a time, I can make use of slicing in a list, so that I can update one or two or three items in a list. And here if you look into it, it is T1 1 semicolon 3. Starting position is 1, ending position is 2. I will be updating my start position, end position values in a list. So B will be the position, I mean B is the character in the position 1. So it will be updated as X. Then second C will be updated to Y. The updated list will be A, X, Y, D, E, F. So this is the way how we can update multiple elements into a list. Even if you want to update more than 2 or 3 elements, more than 4 elements can be done. As of example, it has been showed only for 2 values. If you want to do more than 2 values, you can do list slices and list methods. So we have a number of methods in which is supporting lists in Python, but we will be discussing only two methods. One is append and second one is extend. And you know what is the meaning of append? It is like insert the value, inserting the item at the end of a list, right? So Python provides this method. I mean it is an inbuilt method, append. So here the example is t is equal to abc. So three values, three elements in a list, and I'm appending d. So since append will be, I mean, we'll be adding the element at the last position. So A, B, C, D, I will be getting it as a result. And I hope, I mean, like we have one more method called extend. it takes a set of arguments and appends all the elements at the end of a list. And here I have two lists t1 equal to abc, t2 equal to d2, and I write t1 dot extend t2. Now what it will be doing is, first t1 will be there and t2 will be adding at the end of the t1, so a b c d e. And one more thing want to remember is, like, if I modify this, I will be getting t1 as a b c d e f, t2 remains same d, t2 will not change. The reason is that I'm extending the list t1 alone. I mean, like, I'm adding the elements from the list t2 to t1. I'm extending it as a complete list. To be simple, it is same as how we are doing list concatenation, where I will be combining two given list, the same operation we are doing it, but we are doing with this extend. Then what is the difference between that and this? And here one more thing is, like, I will show you this in example. So when I try to, I mean, like, when we are trying to, I mean, like, if I want to insert some elements into one list, either I can insert the element or item into the list based on index position or based on the item. For example, if my list is holding 10 names, 10 names of a student, I want to replace second name of a student, I can do it. Or I want to replace the third or fourth name of a student, I can do it. Or I want to replace the name starting from second position to eighth position, I want to replace all the names, I can do it. Or I want to add, or I want to add few names at the end of the list, I can do it. Or I want to combine two list items, I mean two items of a list into a single list, that also can be done. So this we shall see some examples at the end. Okay, and we have one more method called sort. So sort will arrange the element from low to high. Like, if I call t dot sort, I will be printing print a t a b c d. And one more thing to be noted here is, in the previous example we have seen t1 dot extend, in parameter I will be passing t2. Similarly, if you try to do like this, I mean, like, t dot sort, let me take t1 dot sort, I mean t dot sort in bracket, if you're trying to pass the list t, you can see the results little bit different. That will be interesting if you try with examples, right? And next is deleting element, I mean deleting or removing an element from a list. So if we know the index element, for example, I just want to remove the third element from an list, I can remove the third element so that I can pop it. Here you can see it like a t dot pop of 1, it will be removing the element in the it will be removing the element or item in the index position 1. So index position 1 is holding item p, so that p will be get removed, I will be getting ac. So print x b. So pop modifies the list and returns the element that was removed. And if we don't know the index position, then what we can do, I mean, like, if we are not familiar with the index position, we want to remove some item in the list, or we want to remove the entire list, you can do the same thing using operator delete. Either you can make use of the keyword pop, or you can make use of the keyword del, I mean delete. And if you want to remove the complete list, you can do it by removing the complete list, I mean, you can use either remove or you can either use a delete. And the return value from remove is always none. If you're trying to remove it and trying to print something from the list, it will print out the remaining list. You can't print the value which is being removed. And here what it is doing is, remove is, I mean, deleting the value without index position. Yes, directly passing the, I mean, if I have a list with the 5 student names named similarly like A, B, C, D, F something, if I'm trying to remove the second name with respect to position, I can use pop or delete, right? So I will be trying to remove the item with respect to index position. And second thing is using remove. If I know that sorry, some name in this list called Raju, I just want to this Raju from this I just want to remove the name Raju from the list. I don't want to pass the index position. I can just pass the string Raju directly to the using the remove method, so that this Raju will be removed from the list. That is what the difference between those two operators and this operator like remove operator. So remove operator does not require the index position. I mean, you need to remove the element. You can directly pass the element, or you can directly pass the item, so that the position element will be removed. And if you want to remove more than one element, you can use a slice. As how we have used the slice function, slice with the operator, a slice with the operator or the keyword that is called as delete. So delete t of 1 to 5. It removes elements from 1 to 4. you will be getting the last elements as a result. Okay, so to delete an element from an list, what are the different possible solutions are: one is I can delete it using pop. If I'm using pop, I should specify the index position. Second, I can use a keyword delete. I can specify the index position. And third, I don't want to specify the index position. I can directly point the item or the element using a keyword remove, so that the particular element or item will be removed from my list. And fourth option is I can make use of slice. So this will remove a set of elements from a list. Either you can remove the element from 1 to 4, or you can remove from 2 to 5. It can be of anything. So next, here are some inbuilt functions. As we discussed about len, which gives you the length of a element. I mean length of a list. So we have few more methods also. And here, let us as a given example is nums. It is a list which is holding values 3, 41, 12, 9, 7, 4, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are there totally. So start from 0 to 5. So if you print the length of the particular list, you will get 6. And second, maximum number in a list using the maximum function. It has an inbuilt function max. Second function min will get you the minimum element. And third function sum to find out the complete sum of it. And fourth function, you can divide the sum by length. You can get the result. So these are the some inbuilt functions. So as of now, we have discussed the inbuilt functions as like one is append, second one is extend, and third one sort. And here we are discussing about length, that is using len, and to find the maximum max, to find the minimum min, and to get the sum of the elements or sum of the items in the list using sum. And then also I can use a divide. I can also use a division operator, sum divided by length, so that I will be getting this particular result. So these are few functions that we can do in associated with list in Python. And we have still more things to discuss in list in Python. Next one, list and string. So as of now, we are discussing like some few of the concept in which we are using in string is applicable in list. So if I want to print, I mean like the respective character in a given string, I'll be using index position. That is also called like that is also like indexing index value or index position. In some cases, it is also called like subscript. And there I will be using 0, 1, which will be get which will get represented with square bracket, and here too it is same. And I can use apply size operator in string, and here too it is same. So now what are the things that you can do with a list and strings? So as we know, like a string is a sequence of characters. I mean set of sequence of characters. A list is sequence of values. But I mean like a list of characters is not same as the string. I mean like the list of characters, whatever that you see in a string is not the same as in list. And second thing, to convert from a string, I mean how to convert from a string to a list of characters, what you can use list, how to do this. For example, if the given string is hello, hello, I just want to make this string to be as hello. First element is h, second element is e, third element is l, fourth element is l, fifth element is 4. I need to place this 5 elements in a list. I hope you understand this, right? For example, I have given a string welcome. I need to I need to separate each and every character from this string. I need to place this in a list, so that my list will be holding first element as w, second element as e, third element as l, fourth element as e. That is what we are doing here with the help of function called list. And list of yes, so list will be the inbuilt function. So list of yes, what it will be doing is this is holding a character string called spam. So it is a list of characters. So I hope you remember like a character in a string can also be represented. A string can also be represented in single quote or double quote or triple quote. So it is not that like a single quotes will be representing, as you can see. You can see like a single quote will be used to represent a single character, and here you can do this, right? Okay, so the list function breaks a string into individual letters. If you want to even for example, let me try this. I have created a list called animal. I have set of value. I am passing set of values called items or values called cat, dog, sheep, goat, lion, tiger, something. I just want to print these elements in the screens followed by like a tiger, comma, lion, comma, goat, comma, sheep, comma, cat, comma, hen. I want to print the elements in this particular manner. Then what I can take is whatever the input that you are getting, you can split it. I mean, the input you are getting, whatever the set of characters you are getting it as a string, you can split it using a function called split. Using a function split, and then you can print the values whatever the format you want. Either you can print double quotes lion, double quotes close, comma, double quotes tiger, double quotes close, comma, double quotes cat, double quotes close. You can print in this manner, or you can print just double quotes. Within that you can print tiger, comma, lion, and at last you can close with double quotes. Or for example, the given string is hello, I mean the given input is hello, how are you. I want to split it. I want to split all the words in a given string. Hello as a separate word, how separate word, are separate word, you separate word. For this I can make use of split. Split function can be used to split the values in a given, I mean whatever the values that that are getting as an input, that can be get split. And second thing is, after splitting, either you can split with respect to each and every word followed by comma, or you can split each and every word followed by a hyphen, or you can split each and every word followed by some other characters also. It is allowed in Python. And here you can see example, I mean like a pinning for the if jots. So if I apply the split function over this, I mean like s dot split. So print t, I can see pinning single quotes. I can see for, I can see the, I can see f jots. It is the default. If you want to do it in double quotes, what I will be trying to do is I will be writing s dot split double quotes, comma, double quotes close. So that now I will be getting all the words in the result as double quotes, right? In this, then as usual I can follow it like this index position pinning will be 0, far will be 1, d will be 2, Jeff George will be 3. If I want to get the third one, I will be printing like a print t of 2. I will be getting the. So it is the way, I mean, it is the meaning of using split function. Split function will be helping you to split the given words or given set of words. You can split it in a way you want. Either you can split it accordingly using double quotes, or you can split it without any double quotes, just followed by first word, second word, third word. So it will help you to, I mean, like what, for example, if I need to find the frequency of set of words in a given text file, the text file, let it be the text file which is holding a 5 to 10 lines. Hello, how are you, I hope you are fine, something like that, right? I want to find out, I want to find the frequency count of the words. For example, hello, how many times it is being repeated in a file. For that, what I will be doing is I will be getting that file as an input, that a complete text file, and then I will be splitting the words in the file. I will be splitting the words first. That is what I will be doing. So there I will be making use of this split function. Once split is done, then I will be starting comparing the first. I mean, I will be start counting the word with the next word. If it gets repeat, I will be incrementing the count plus 1. If it is not, the count remains same. So in this is one example where we can make use of split function. And for example, if let me take, like, you are given a set of elements like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. You want this to be printed in terms of list, I mean like a square bracket, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma. Even you can split it, and again you can do it using the help of split function. Okay. So these are I mean like these are few purposes for using this split function in list. This can be applied on strings that we are using in relation with a list. That is the meaning of list and string, right? And next one. And see here. So in the previous, we have seen that example, right? And now we are using something called delimiter. As I told you, like I can split even the given thing using some hyphen, some other thing, or even you can remove this delimiter. Here example which is here is s is equal to spam hyphen spam hyphen spam hyphen. And what I'm doing is like a delimiter equal to hyphen. I want to remove that hyphen in between the spam, and I want to split it first word, second word, third. I don't want to have any hyphen in between them. For this, I can use this delimiter. I can specify this. I mean, like where it is. Even if you want, for example, I have 10 elements like this. If you want to remove only for first elements, you can do it by specifying its boundary using slice. That also can be done. And second, And reverse of this split, we have one more method called join, which joins the complete string. If I'm splitting like hello, how are you? This is a single sentence which can be split out into hello, how are you? And join will make you to combine this set of words again into a single sentence as like a string, right? So this is the difference between split, and this is the meaning of join. Even I can remove the delimiters in between the given sentence. If I have semicolon or comma in between the elements, I can remove it, I can again split it, I can again join it. Like, so these are the things that we can operate with the strings. I mean, operating with strings in list in Python. And parsing lines. So as I told you, like when I start looking into line by line, for example, I have given a text file. In this, I need to find out the frequency of words in a given text file. I need to parse each and every line. Then I need to count the words, so that about or else in a given text file, you need to find how many number of lines of text are there in a given file. I can parse each and every line to find or to count how many number of lines are there in a given text file. So it is one example for this parsing. And here, what is it is doing is it has given example like from Stephen Margaret dot something. So Saturday, January 5th date. It has given Saturday, January 5th date. And what we are trying to do is, thus we are using a split method over this. And what is it like? We are writing, you can write a small program that looks for lines. I mean, like this is one text line, this is one line which has been taken from a text file. So that text file is holding multiple lines like this. There are n number of lines like this. What I want to do is, from that n number of lines, I want to take out the line which is starting with the word called from, right? I just want to take out all the words which is start from. And then I want to like and then I want to split those lines, and then you can print out the third one in the line. The third word in the line is like Saturday. I want to print the third word in the line. So this is a concept of it. Let me make it clear. What I'm doing is, we are give the input is given as a text file. You are given a text file as the input. In that you have some a number of lines. Let it be like 5 lines or 10 lines. And what you should do is, you need to take all the lines that starts with the word from. You need to find the lines that starts with the keyword from. Once after getting those lines, I mean, like if you are given the 10 lines, in that, let us take for example, only 3 to 4 lines starts with the word from. Those 3 to 4 lines has to be separated. Next, in that 3 lines, what is the fourth, I mean, what is the, I mean, you need to print the third word in the line. The third word, for example, first word is from. Second word is that email ID. Third word is Saturday. SAT will be the third word. You need to print the third word from the line. This is what this example is doing. Like, so you have given a text file. From that text file, I have given some a number of lines. So from those lines, whatever the line starts with the keyword from, those lines has to be separated. And from that separated lines, you need to print the third element, I mean third word from the list. That is what this example is doing, parsing lines. I hope you understand this concept, right? So let us look into this program. Like if and equal to open, this is the file name, the text file which is given as input. So once the text file is given as input, I'm using for loop for line in fn. This line will be the variable which is pointing to each and every lines in a f. And now I need to do a line equal to line dot r strip. I'm removing the empty spaces after the end of the line. I don't want to look into the empty spaces. That is what I'm using r strip. I hope you know the meaning of r strip, l strip, strip. Strip removes the spaces, empty spaces before and after a string. And if I use L strip, it removes the spaces before the beginning of the string. If I use R strip, it removes the empty spaces at the end of a string. So if I mean, like if line 1 is completed with 4 words, if line 2 is getting with 8 to 10 words, I don't want this into look into the empty spaces. I will be removing this R strip. Then, so as I told you, starts with, I need to check the line starts with, the line is you the line starts with the keyword from. If it starts with from, take it out. Else go for, else don't do anything. If it starts with, then go for splitting the words. then I need, after once that the words are being splitted, I need to print the third word, right? Third word means 0, 1, 2. I need to print the words in the second position. That is third word. So 0, 1, 2. So that is printing you the words in the second position. So that I will be getting the third word. So it is the logic of this. Let me repeat it like in a given text file, you need to separate the lines, or the lines starts with the keyword from, right? Once after, if you find this can be done using the keyword called the starts with. The starts with will tell you whether the line starts with the from or not. If it starts with from, you can take that. If it is not starting with from, you can continue. If you don't want to do anything, you just ignore it. And if you find out it is starting with the starts with, then what you can do is you can try to first print the third word. Third word will be in the position 2. So 0, 1, 2, so that you can print the third position in 2. So that I can find out and print the third position, I mean the second position 0, 1, 2. I'll be getting the third word in the program. So this is how I will be parsing through a line, or a set of intersection of lines, or a set of lines. That is what parsing lines. And next, objects and values. And objects and value, it means, for example, like as we know what is the meaning of object and what is the meaning of value, and here what it is doing is, if I try to hold two values with the same variable name called a, for example, a is equal to a equal to banana, b equal to banana, or this I can assume anyway. A is holding banana separately, I mean a is object which is holding banana separately, and b is object which is holding banana separately, or a and b, that since it is object like a and b can point out to the same value. So that here, if you take in this manner, the single object which is pointed out by two variables, or two different objects pointed out two different variables, but the thing is, both the two objects are going to be same. Both are going to hold the same value. So that's what, either it can be in this manner or either it can be in this manner. To check out whether the variables refer to same object or not, either it is same or it is different, you can make use of a equal to banana, b equal to banana, a is b. If both the object is pointing out to the same object, if both the object is pointing out to this, I mean if both the variables are referring to the same object, then the result will be true. If both the objects are referring to different object, then the result is false. That is what the meaning of it. I just want to check out whether the variable which we use is pointing out referring to the same object or not. What does that you want to convey is, I have two variables and two variables are holding an object. If it is holding a different object, that is not a issue, that is different. If two objects are holding the same value, then either both, I mean two objects holding the same value, if both the, I mean whatever the variable that is holding is same or different, I can access with a is b. And what is the problem with this kind of things is like, so if I mean like, if an object is referred by two variables, if an object is referred by two variables, and the two variables referring the same object, and what is that variable which is referring to object, either it is a or it is b, but both is doing the same thing. It can be a or it can be b. If I even access a, I will be getting the same result. If I access b, I will be getting the same result. Since the object is being held with the two same variable, but the variable names are different, that is what we call it as aliasing, where things will object will be same, but which will be get represented with two values or two variables. But once if you look into the end, the object whatever the two variables are holding will be same or will be common. So when you create two list, you will be getting two object a, 2, 3, b, a equal to 1 to 3, b equal to 1 to 3. And here if you look into is a is b, it is returning false. But whereas this same, when you represent or when you point out a set of characters or like a string, it is resulting true. And here it is resulting false. That is one thing we need to know with list. And next, second example, that is what I told you, like aliasing, right? So when a starts referring to an object, and when you, I mean like here it is a is equal to 1 to, I've created a list a, and what I'm trying to do is I'm assigning this list to again b. So b is a, it is returning true. But the last case, a equal to 1 to 3, b equal to 1 to 3, if I apply is operator, a is b, but both are not equal, I'm getting the result as false. And here I'm getting the result as true. I mean, like the association of a variable with an object is called a reference. I'm referencing to it. An object with more than one reference has more than one name, which is having more than one name. Then we say that object is aliased. I mean, it is cloning. It is also called as like cloned. And here, if the alias object is mutable, again it is mutable. So b of 0 is equal to 17 print a. I can print 17 to 3. So it is the meaning of it. Even list is also, I mean, mutable. This aliasing is also mutable. Aliasing is the same name which we are using, or the same name which we are using to refer more than one object, or more than one, the same variable name which are using, trying to use more than one object or more than one list. That is called aliasing. List arguments. So I hope we shall continue this list argument in the next class. And also, like, I can show you the examples of this list arguments in the next class. Still we have 5 minutes. Okay, let's try to complete this. So list arguments. So what are the arguments that can be passed of a list, and what we can do with those arguments? That is what list arguments. So here, if you look into it, like, delete, already we have defined this delete. So you have defined a function called function name d. Function should be defined with a keyword called def delete add t, delete t0. For example, letters equal to abc, delete underscore head letters. So I want to delete the first letter alone, a b c. So print letters, I will be getting b and c. I can pass the the parameter t, and the variable letters are aliases for the same object. I'm trying to do with the same thing. Here I used a function called deleted. I passed a parameter t, and here I'm doing the same thing with the parameter letters. Both this t and letters are the variables which is doing the same thing. Like, these are called as aliases. Aliases, like, this is aliases. This, like, both will be representing same thing. Both will be having different. That is what aliases, but object will be same. That is list arguments. And as we discussed about, the plus operator creates a new list. I can do like this. So tt equal to t1 dot append 3. The value 3 will be get inserted into list. So 1 2 3. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to print t2. So t2 is printing, then it is not going to do anything. Also, I can check out the two list. I created one more list called t3 1 2 3. I'm checking out whether t2 and t3 is common. That is resulting false. I'll show you this. These all the concept whatever that discussed we are now. I'll be showing you those things with example program in the next class. Okay. So let me recall that points whatever that we have discussed today. Aliasing, delimiter, element, equivalent, index, identical, list, traversing a list, nested list, object, reference. Okay.